Welcome to Behind the Mic, the deep dive behind Radio Theology. Here are your hosts, Daron Earlywine, Lisa Graff, and Ryan Allward.
It's time for another episode of Behind the Mic here with Radio Theology. Pastor Daron is your pilot, Lisa and Ryan co-pilots. We will be sending the drink service back today. Soft drinks are complimentary, and he, I've never wanted to be a steward or stewardess. Pilot,
how's it feel now, though?
Pilot sounds awesome, though.
Sure.
I wasn't able to be a pilot because my vision was too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to have 20/20 to be a pilot.
That's right. Or better.
That and the fact that I get motion sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that probably
No.
wouldn't.
Strong no.
I wouldn't fly.
Oh!
Welcome back
here.
to Behind the Mic, the spiritual deep dive conversation that flies off of or right behind Radio Theology each and every week. And guys, I'm stoked for this episode because I loved putting together the content for this week's show because it came off of actually a sermon I preached just here recently at Mercy Road Church in Indianapolis, here in Carmel area, actually. And I think you can get the whole video if you would like it at mercyroad.cc. They post the videos of the sermons, I think, a week after it's over, so it should be live if you want to go see this. But I started it off. I've based the whole sermon, and a lot of the show is based around my confession that I do really, really love NASCAR and video games. And specifically right now, I really am loving my NASCAR Heat 4 video game.
You got a steering wheel and everything, don't you?
I do.
You have racing gloves?
No, that's ridiculous. I should
yeah.
think about that, though. I haven't. There's not
We
enough.
need to get you a helmet.
And-
There's not enough force
Amazon.com.
feedback, in the steering wheel.
Like, honey, I'll be back. I got to put on my adult diaper and drink my Gatorade.
No, here's what I really want. At some point when I have enough expendable income or somebody just gives me like a crazy gift card,
Sure.
I want a racing seat set up so bad in my house I can't take it.
They make those?
Yes.
Oh,
only
okay.
not only, I understand what I'm saying. They're only like $300.
Got it.
I think you're setting your dreams too low, bro. You need to, I want to own a racing team. I want to be a race car driver.
I do. I want to race in a race at some point, and I'm telling you, I would be good.
You have all this practice, hours and hours
right.
and hours
Listen,
and hours
There was
of practice
there was
behind the
listen,
wheel.
I have.
I would be.
Hours
I
and
would be good.
Listen to me. There was a Gran Turismo is another game. It's an amazing game. It's you can trace all the different real cars, road racing. It's awesome. Now, they made a TV show. I can't remember what it's called, Gran Turismo something, but they took like 10 of the best Gran Turismo video game drivers in the world. And they took them through all these competitions, and the dude that won, he won a contract to be a real deal race car driver because he was so good from the game.
Wow.
And all of the NASCAR guys now, and all of the racing series, they all do racing simulators and learn tracks before they go race. So that's how real the game is.
Yes, that's good. I knew that from watching Cars 3 with my son.
Yes.
He's 3.
So I'm
more of an appropriate age
No,
level.
that's incorrect. He would be terrible. He sucks. I'm good.
Wow, you heard it here first. Darren hates Lisa's son.
I am a good race car driver. I'm telling you. Yes, I
believe
should have a
that's
race
true.
car. We should have a Radio Theology race car team.
Hey, that's
Right?
not a bad idea.
Let's do that. At
And-
the very least, have a car in your basement so that you can be in the actual whole simulator that moves and all that stuff.
I would love it.
Bro, you could do an entire sermon series for a year about the metaphor of, life is the car that we're given.
Oh, yeah.
We have agency, we have choice, we have the will to drive the car on the track.
Yeah.
Called the universe.
It's all there.
Jesus is our crew chief.
I'm just telling you, if I get a racing seat at my house, you guys won't see me for a while.
Okay.
Next time you see me, I'll have like a big Moses beard.
What I'm hearing is, if you like what we're doing and want to see this grow, don't get me the racing seat.
Man.
Anyway, I've been playing the game a bunch.
Yes.
Right? By a bunch, I mean a couple hours a week because I don't have much time in my life, so I have to sneak the hours that the kids are sleeping or whatever.
10 hours a week. We'll give you that. Go ahead. Couple hours. 10.
Hey, listen, I'm not going to take any hate from you because I know you. I have led you into this gaming universe.
Oh yeah, it was time to get back in. I was a pretty consistent gamer as a junior high.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? It's good to be back in.
I just beat my sniper game, Elite Sniper 4.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah, I just beat it last night.
And I'm not being sexist. I'm not saying your daughter's not going to get into gaming.
Right.
But the cool part is she can if she does.
absolutely.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
But I'm saying you have a son, and the chances of him getting into you doing some father-son gaming time pretty strong.
My earliest gaming experience with my own father was when Pong came out on the
Yes.
Atari.
Yep.
Which my dad still has his old school Atari.
Sure.
And our way of bonding was him playing the computer and handing me the second controller.
Yeah.
So that I thought I was
You were
playing
playing.
against my dad.
Wow.
It's actually pretty genius.
I did that to my
so
sons, too.
smart. Oh, my gosh. My experience in gaming ends with Super Mario Brothers 3 on the regular Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great game.
Just I only like the 4 buttons, and that's it. Get the Super Plus, whatever.
You got multiple fingers involved, thumbs and everything.
It's just
Wait, were you Super NES or old school NES? What did you just say?
old school.
Old school.
The
Okay.
original Nintendo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so good.
The little gray box. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Mario 3 was great. I remember playing that on the arcade game in Pizza Hut growing up. And it was like, Mom, can we go to Pizza Hut? Because they have the Super Mario Brothers 3.
arcade.
Oh.
There was always a rumor that there was like Mario 17 in Japan that like no one knew about.
I remember growing up, we would ride our bikes to the gas station with a handful of quarters, and we would play. My buddies loved to play, what was the Mortal Kombat?
Oh, yeah.
They did it forever.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking now, if my sons were like, Dad, can I ride my bike and go up to the gas station and hang out for a while? I'd be like, no, someone will steal you.
Yeah. Someone's going to throw you into a windowless van.
Yeah. We will never see you again. But
No.
my parents were like, yeah, be back by 6.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All of this happens.
Hey.
Do not send your children to a gas
No.
station.
Yeah.
now
Well, you
with
can't because
quarters.
they don't have bikes.
That's true. There's no
Well,
reason.
There's no bike. Well, no, there's no arcade games in gas stations anymore.
For this very reason.
Well, it's because we have computers in our back pocket called
Yeah.
phones. No, here, all of this to say.
Yeah, sorry. And we're back.
Tell us about the sermon.
Yeah, you're
All
a
of
race
this
car
to say,
driver.
yes.
Somehow we're going to talk about Jesus.
It's taught me a lot because, as we talked about in the show, I have noticed
Yes.
that I've now almost won 2 championships as a dirt driver and then in the truck series.
Okay.
And I have lost my championship on the freaking last lap of the championship race twice.
Oh.
I get all stressed out. I'm looking in the rearview mirror, don't know what's going on, get nervous, overdrive it, wreck, lose a championship. And the anger that seethes within me is strong to very strong because I win all these races and then I get to when it counts and I lose. So then I have to preach this sermon about God spinning our life. And I thought to myself, you know what, here's the problem. Like, God turned my life around. I started following Jesus when I was like 6.
Right.
okay.
Like, I don't need to start following Jesus. And if you need to start, this is a great place to start listening to the show. My guess is maybe if you're to the point of listening to our podcast now, you may be a follower of Jesus. Your issue isn't start following Jesus. Your issue is that you keep spinning your life out on the last lap of the championship races.
Yes.
It's in your marriage. It's in your dating relationships. Maybe it's at work. Maybe it's with friends. But you have regular things that keep happening in your life that are making messes in your relationships, that are causing pain. I don't know anybody in my life that's not regularly making messes in their life. It's what we do. We're sinful people, and we often don't learn from our mistakes.
No.
And so dedicated this show and this sermon to this idea of what are the things that I actually learned that can help us understand how to stay out of this pattern. And one of the first ones that I said was that you've got to begin to turn into the spin. And that's a metaphor, obviously, but the idea that in racing, as the car starts to spin out, you have to turn towards like the spin. You can't turn into it. You got to turn towards it. And what that means is like if you're like Doc Hudson would say, if you're turning left, turn hard enough left, you start to skid, then you got to turn the wheel back to the right to catch the car in the spin. And the metaphor for me was that so often when I make a mistake, when I sin, when I cause a mess, is for years I didn't do this correctly. What I would do is I'd turn away from the problem and I'd try to get away from it as quick as I could.
Yeah.
I might say I'm sorry if I was caught,
Sure.
but I would get away from the problem that I caused as quick as I could. Sweep it on the rug, don't talk about it, get away from it. And I think that's kind of intuitively what we all do.
Oh, gosh.
Or is it just me?
Oh, no, you are not alone in this.
Thank you.
Yep, you are welcome. I'm very good at that, but have also started to look at the things that I've done, because I think not only do I run and hide, and then in my hiding, I explain away my mess, either by blaming other people or the situation or whatever, or I substitute little words like, if I'm being controlling or whatever, I'm like, I'm not controlling, I'm being helpful, or, I'm not being manipulative, I'm right, So you start substituting these words that don't sound as bad as what is actually happening, and then you can go, oh, I'm just, it's no big deal when you start lightening the verbs that you use around it.
Yeah.
I think part of it, as we talked about, is when I talked about in the sermon, is that one of the reasons I think that happens is this that we're trying to get away from punishment most often.
Yeah.
We're afraid we're going to get in trouble and be punished, so it's like fix it as quick as we can and get away from him. And that's a challenge even in our parenting sometimes. Is if the relationship our kids have to us is when we catch them doing something wrong, is if we demand they apologize to us and we punish them. If that is the context of it, is I coerce an apology out of you or a confession, then I punish you, and then we move on. Mm-hmm. You are dealing with what your kid did, but you're not helping them deal with why they're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's a difficult thing. You guys are on the front side. We talked a little bit in the show, like this week, Ryan, your kid gets on a school bus first day. My kid gets a driver's license or a permit.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out a whole different kind of world of parenting right now. But one thing I'm trying to do with my boys is to not parent with that kind of paradigm, that our relationship is, if you do wrong, you better tell me, and then you're going to be punished. But then once I punish you, then we're done.
Yeah.
Because I'm not just trying to coerce like good behavior out of my kids. Obedience.
Yeah.
Is I want something more for them. I want them to learn how to live life the best way they can live it. And I think that's where that next step comes from, is actually getting curious, not just confessing, hey, I screwed up. Like, that's the obvious thing. Now, like you said, we can hide it. We can explain it away.
Yeah.
But you do got to get to the place to go, I own this. I did this wrong.
Yeah.
And the quote that I said earlier is that confession does deal with what you did. You got to start there, but it doesn't uncover why you did it. And that's where that curiosity part comes in. Have you tried any of that, Ryan, with your kids as far as just kind of walking them through maybe some of their actions, or have you started using it in your own life at all?
I think what I've tried to do more with, especially Olivia, who is going to be 6 a little bit later on this year, is more calling out, like catching her when she's doing quote unquote good things.
Yeah.
Like catching her when she's being a really good big sister to her brother. When she is going up and just hugging her mom and expressing love and appreciation, because let's face it, if you're 5, that's not top of your mind to be like, I wonder how I can be helpful. I wonder how I can show my mom that I just love her for who she is.
Right.
And so more than, I definitely do know both of their, to use your term, Lisa, from a show a long time ago, like knowing your kid's currency.
Yeah.
Like for Olivia, we have these very special daddy-daughter end of the day stories. It's about 2 sibling frogs named Barney and Bernie.
Right.
And I've talked a little bit about Barney and Bernie before, but I know that I can hold that to say, okay, if you don't do this, you're not getting Barney and Bernie. But instead of being a jerk about it, I'm saying, what's your choice? To help her understand you have a decision to make. Like,
right.
You have freedom and power in this. It's not just, dad who's angry and bigger than me coming down and just dropping the hammer.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get better at it. It also is like what we were given as kids tends to be what we can rely on most in our own parenting. And this isn't a parenting show.
Right.
But just trying to think, like, I'm already seeing glimpses of what I'm doing that my dad did, especially when it was like when my sister would have just a nasty attitude or do something stupid. My dad would bring the whole family in and we'd talk about it for an hour until we all felt good about it. And by the end of it, we're just like, what was that all about?
Right.
So no parent is perfect. But
well, and I would say this isn't a parenting show, but what I want us to see is that we say this all the time. It's a Gary Smalley quote: "The life is relationships. Everything else is the details."
Yeah.
And often it's difficult to get your mind around, like, how do I interact with God? I don't know. It's invisible. It's a faith thing. I can't see it. I can feel it. But what I love for us to do is let's take the really very easy to see, very easy to feel, very easy to experience horizontal relationships that we have. How am I interacting with my children when it comes to punishment, when it comes to problems? How am I interacting with my spouse, with my best friends? Like, what am I doing? Because to think that, oh, well, I don't operate like that with God. Well, we're joking ourselves.
Right.
Right.
You are, what's the same common denominator in every one of your relationships?
Yeah.
You. So we can get curious. Part of this curiosity is like, how do I deal when my children wrong me, or they're in the wrong? Because like you're saying, Ryan, we only do what we've inherited. Which is like, I'm thinking about when we had Paul Young on the podcast, and he said, it took him 50 years to wipe the face of his dad off the face of God. And And so looking at how what's going on is that you could have some stuff that you keep doing that is causing a mess in your marriage. And if you'll stop long enough to get curious and go, I act like that when those kind of people are around, or I tend to do this same time of the year, or these things, like starting to put together what is going on with what I'm doing. It's not working. It's hurting people. But I can get curious in it and say, Jesus, what do I need to know? Because the cool part is that he wants to lead us to the dysfunction within us, the lies that we may be believing internally that are causing us to hurt ourselves or people around us. But it can be a scary journey. And when we're dealing with our kids or our spouses or ourselves, sometimes it can feel good just to be like, well, let's just get a confession out of them and let's punish somebody and let's walk away from it. Hope you're enjoying this episode of Behind the Mic. We got a quick announcement for you. Hit it, Lisa.
We are having a super fun party, our Blackbird Mission Gala. It's coming up on March 20th in Fishers, and we would love to have you there.
Ryan, what can they expect for the night?
Music, great food, inspiration, a lot of other fun people who share the same kind of vision that we do about this growing ministry all over Indiana, the Midwest, and the world. It's going to be an awesome time. We'd love to see you there. Come
join hundreds of other folks just like you. Come check it out. You can get tickets right now at blackbirdmission.com/gala. blackbirdmission.com/gala. Get your tickets today, March 20th, 2020, 6 p.m. Come join us for the Blackbird Mission Gala.
Well, I think to bring this to a real example, because we're kind of talking around all these hypothetical issues, but so I can just tell you guys that I've been, and because we're a team, but the journey that I was on last year started me spinning out of control, and I was really the last one to see it. And so when I took the time and space to get curious about it and be like, okay, this is not working, and I feel crazy, and I don't want to be this crazy. I don't want to cry all the time, and I don't want to be short with my kids and short with my husband. And so I started to get curious about why, what happened. So I was literally going through the timeline going, oh, okay, so this is when it switched. I am a good helper. I'm a natural helper. That's my gifting. I love taking care of people. And so when I was doing that in a healthy way, everything's great. Then I started scrambling to feel validation through my helping. And so then the lie basically that I'm believing is I am only as good as the things I do for other people. And I'm only as good as what they say about me because I do those things. And so that was hard to look at and go, wait a second, I went crazy helping. I abandoned my family. I mean, basically, at least emotionally stepped out of my family and in my marriage and some other relationships because I didn't have any capacity because I was chasing down this need to feel important because of the things that I was doing for other people.
Yeah.
Mm. And so that is hard, and that's hard work to do, and I'm glad that I'm in the process of doing it. But for me, once you name it, that has been so helpful for me to go, oh, okay, this is what I did and why I did it. Now I can have all these guardrails up. If I'm even close to the guardrail, a warning flag goes off in my head. No, we're not doing this again. Let's correct course.
Yeah, I think I love that, Lisa. And I think I'm not going to, I'm not telling your story, but or
go ahead, speak freely.
Well, you in that curiosity, I mean, you uncovered some wounds in the past.
Oh yeah.
And it was like, oh, okay.
This hurts.
This wasn't something that got triggered last week.
Right.
This has been a pattern actually that was triggered from childhood, and then the Holy Spirit brought to you some powerful snapshot memories to go, hey, let's go back here.
Right.
Because maybe some of the seeds here were rooted back here.
Yeah.
And one thing I think you did really well, and we want to encourage you to do, is that next step after curiosity is to actually offer yourself compassion for what you begin to discover.
Yeah.
At least you discovered some stuff in your childhood where it's like, you're not responsible for that. You have no responsibility for it happening.
Right.
But to be able to offer yourself compassion of if this happened and this happened and this happened, well, I guess maybe I shouldn't beat myself up for the action of because that's easy to do.
Oh yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. I'm this, I'm that, I did this wrong, and like, and if I can, this is what I would do, is if I could prove that I felt bad enough for the mess I made, then I felt like somehow I was making amends, because look how bad I feel for it.
Oh, yes. I do that too. I have always, it's one of the other fun things I'm working on right now is I punish myself, so I keep myself in this punishment state in some of my relationships. I do it on purpose because it makes me feel good to feel bad about myself, because it brings some kind of, it's so twisted.
Like, hey, I deserve this because of the things.
This,
and
right.
Yeah.
And I don't. I don't deserve this. And so that's another hard thing to step away from. But like, you kind of get addicted to that feeling. Yeah. And it's so easy to just slide back into that pattern. And so, so curiosity and self-compassion for sure.
Well, this is a big part of this is the behind the mic, right? Deep into the pool of radio theology. But this is where the belief statements we have on the show, right? That God is for you, not against you. That he is near you, not far from you. And he's created you on purpose and for a purpose. These basic statements we say each and every week is, if you follow their natural path, they lead you to be able to do what we're talking about, right? So I am making a mess of my life. Okay, well, is God for me or against me? He is always for me, even in the midst of my sin. How do I know that? Well, the Bible tells me that while I was still a sinner and God's enemy, he died for me. So if in the midst of my being his enemy, he would give his own life, then in the midst of me making another mess of my life, he's probably not scared of it, right? So he's for me in this. Okay, is he far away and he runs away from my problem because he's so scared of me making a mess? No, he is near me, not far away from me. He's in this right now. So he knows it. He's standing right here. And in this moment, he is for me. Like, I have cheated on my spouse and broken my marriage. I have cheated on my taxes and I'm going to get fired from my job. I have lied to a friend again. I have gossiped about people and broken relationships. Like, fill in the blank of the thing you're doing, okay? Like, I've gotten high again. I've gotten drunk. I've gotten a DUI. I don't know where your thing is, okay? I've looked at porn again. I'm like, I don't know. I bounced a check, if you still use checks. Anyway, right? So this has happened. Is God for me or against me in this? God's for me. Is God far away or is he near? No, he's near. And he has created me for a purpose. And the foundational purpose you are created for is to be loved by him and to be in a relationship. And his promise is, as you draw close to him, he's going to draw close to you and wants to lead you to lead a life that is worthy of the calling he's created for you, and a life that's to the full. So now we've got a ton of momentum of like, oh, this is now not something I got to be scared and shamed and run away from. It's like, okay, these are the elements that we can put together where he wants to go, hey, if we could actually heal you from these other things here, you could stop spinning out.
Yeah.
We could start growing. And isn't that what you really want? And we all go, yeah, it really is.
Yeah, that feels a lot better.
Yeah, and that's that last step, right? You get self-compassionate, and then you get closer, not further away from him. But, man, this is like, I get it. This is like honors level type growth.
It's hard and it's heavy. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And it's something you have to commit to, too. And I mean, for me, when I was all the way spun out, I took 2 full weeks off and committed just to this. But in the future, I'm like, I'm committing to seeing this process through with God alongside as he leads me into it.
Yeah.
Like, I have no doubt that my tendency to spin out is going to keep showing up.
Yeah.
That's fine. But there are tons of ways that I can respond differently because of the growth.
Ryan, how you've been going to see your counselor, I mean, once a month now for a while?
Yeah, since I think 2000 and, let me think about this, 2017, around there.
So having that regular moment to pause, to step into some moments, to get curious, to have somebody kind of walk you through a compassionate journey. What's that done for you?
I think it's helped me to see, kind of like what you were talking about, Lisa, like the timeline.
Okay.
See patterns, assess themes gracefully and truthfully.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a good counselor is one that can hold up the mirror to you and say, let's take a look at this. And there's no judgment, and kind of helps unpack the suitcase, metaphorically speaking, look at everything that's out on the bed, fold it back up, put it back together in a better way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not say you're stupid for having this suitcase, or why do you have this in here?
Yeah.
It's why is this in here? You know, and just having someone who knows how to deliver that news in a gracious but also at times truthful way. For me, it's given me, I know this sounds weird, but like excitement about going, or maybe optimism might be a better word, but I look forward every time I go to counseling because I know that something is going to get better in me through the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a mindset of take all my money, oh my gosh, just fix me, because I know that that's unfair, and it's stupid to believe that one person who has a degree in this is just going to automatically fix your problems.
Right. It's your work to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think someone who is willing to go to a cross and die for you and become your sin and then rise again 3 days later,
Yeah.
and then usher you into a relationship that's going to last forever, like that's legit. Like, and I think for me, it's been helpful of a faith journey as well, just to say that my story isn't done and my past is important and parts of it are painful and ugly, and some of my present is painful and ugly. And I'm sure, like you said, Lisa, it's like my future is probably going to be painful and ugly at times, you know? But I'm not going to say, oh, everybody should go to counseling, because I don't think, you know, you have to go into it when the time is right. For me, it was without knowing what it was, I had a really bad anxiety attack and thought that the world was falling apart. And I'm like, what's going on? You know, but now, I'm not saying that I'm never anxious, but I can look at myself in a different lens, and then being a better me, as much as I try to be, is going to only bleed out into my marriage, my relationships with my kids, my inner circle, so on and so forth. And so,
and there is so much hope, right? I mean, like Lisa, you were just sharing before we went on the air, like you went back in and checked in with your doctor, and like you know, in your spin, you were battling some depression, some anxiety, and like in literally a month and a half, like you've seen massive growth and life change in an upswing of amazing emotional health.
Yes.
Like this, there is hope here. There is change.
Right.
Like this isn't just words.
Oh, yeah.
This actually works.
Yeah, exactly. And one of my other motivators to maintain health and to keep growing is that I've got a daughter. And I'm like, I don't want her to have a mom who can't remember that she has to make dinner every night. That's not what I want for my kid, you know? I want her to see a really healthy woman who just believes at her core that she's the daughter of the king and lives like that. Because that's the only way that she's going to live like that, is if she's watching me and some other women around her, obviously.
Yeah.
It's not all on my shoulders, but it starts in our home.
yeah.
And so, like, that is who I absolutely will become, not only for me, but for my daughter,
That's
and then
great.
for generations to come.
Yeah.
And if I can live like that, is so true.
Yeah.
I've done it.
I love it. I love it. Listen, here's a check-in for you. Is maybe just a little like litmus test for you to check in, is where you are at in this process. Is like, are there things in your life right now that you need to confess to people to start the process? If you go, yeah, I got a lot of secrets. Okay, well, you might be at step one. There's some confession you need to make because you need to own what you've done so you can start the process. If you've already done that and there are some things, there's some messes you've spun out in life, and if I ask you the question, why do you do that? And you genuinely have no idea, then you're at the curiosity step. Why are you doing that? Why are you overeating? Why are you getting drunk all the time? Why are you doing drugs? Why do you look at porn? Why do you overspend your credit card limits? Like whatever. Why are you doing that? If you genuinely are perplexed, I don't know why. You're at the curiosity step. And that's not like, get curious, figure it out tomorrow. Your 2020 might be the year of curiosity. Here's the good news. God's not in a hurry, because you're already loved. You're already accepted. He's already there. He's already for you. He's already near you. So it's like you're not doing anything to get him to turn your way. But if you don't know why, you're at curiosity. If I can say, why do you do that? And you go, it's because of this. And the moment you say that, you have a sense, a feeling of condemnation and shame and self-hatred. You're at self-compassion. you're at a place of owning that and saying, Jesus, what do I need to know about me and this?
Yeah.
And it might be 2021, the year of self-compassion, right? But the undercurrent of all of this is that you're running to get closer and closer to God through the process. And I want to land the plane today, and I want to read a scripture. I just leave some truth for you today. We haven't done this much on the podcast, and I don't know if we'll do it a bunch later, but I feel like we should now. And it's Philippians 3:12 through 14, and this isn't the Passage translation. It's a brand new translation I've just discovered on the Bible app. I freaking love it. But this has been a life verse for me in many, many seasons. And so maybe you need it this morning. I want to share it with you. And if it inspires you, if this episode has helped you, we want to hear from you. Please reach out to us, Daron, Ryan, or Lisa at blackbirdmission.com, or you can just comment on Radio Theology. And we'd encourage you to share this episode with a friend that might need it. But let me read the scripture to you today, and I just pray that God would use it to strengthen you, to encourage you, to turn into your spins and run back to Him. And it says this: I admit that I haven't yet acquired the absolute fullness that I'm pursuing, but I run with passion into His abundance so that I may reach the purpose that Jesus Christ has called me to fulfill and wants me to discover. I don't depend on my own strength to accomplish this. However, I do have one compelling focus. I forget all of the past as I fasten my heart to the future instead. I run straight for the divine invitation of reaching the heavenly goal and gaining the victory prize through the anointing of Jesus. We believe you have that anointing, friends, if you're in a relationship with Christ. Run with passion back to the heart of the Father, and you will find yourself in the process of healing. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Behind the Mic. Once again, we'd love to hear from you. And until we do, remember these three things. God's for you, not against you. He's near you, not far from you. And He's created you on purpose and for a purpose.
Thanks for listening to Behind the Mic. For more episodes, go to radiotheology.com.